everyone, welcome to another episode of The Walk. My name's Gareth, I'm with my mate Jono again.
Hello.
All the way down from Scotland.
Freedom.
We're in Bevercotes, which is a tiny little village in Nottinghamshire, and we actually stood on the site of what was Bevercotes Colliery. Now, that's an interesting thing in itself. It opened in 1965 and it was the first fully automated colliery in the UK. Survived all the way up into 1993. There was a guy here called Birch who was employed by the Daily Mail to basically sabotage the miners' strikes in the 1980s. So it's got its own interesting story, and we were going to come down and do a video. Then I spotted this. Now if you zoom in, there's a little square of trees there, and Google tells me that's a chapel. But that chapel, it turns out, is nearly 1,000 years old. So I don't know about you, Jono, but
sounds pretty interesting.
I'm more up for that. So we're going to come back to Bevercotes. We'll do this one another time. We're going to head off now and find that chapel. So we're walking away from the colliery site now, and we're in some woodland. Now, this chapel is called St James's Chapel, or at least it was called St James's Chapel, and it dates all the way back to the 1000s. It was built by the Normans when there was an area here, a village here called Haughton, or Haughton if I'm saying that correctly. But then what happened, in 1509, a gentleman by the name of Stanhope, who was a very wealthy landowner, he decided he didn't want this village there. He wanted the land basically for himself. So he had basically clearances. I thought clearances were a Scottish thing.
Yeah, I hadn't heard of them south of the border before.
Yeah, but they had clearances here. So he cleared out the people that were living on the land, left the chapel, but kept that for himself basically. And then by the early 1700s, it was already abandoned. No one was going in there. And then by the mid-1700s, it was already completely derelict and basically in pretty much a similar state to what it is today. But there are remains, which is amazing. Now, in terms of finding it, it's basically between the River Mourne and the River Meaden. And that's what we're walking at the moment. We're on a path in the woods going between those two rivers. So in theory, we shouldn't miss it. So Jono's walking on ahead like he knows where he's going. I've just noticed he's chomming. What are you chomming on?
Blackberries.
Blackberries.
They're growing everywhere here.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Abundant.
So, this wood ends, and we go into a field, but that is actually in keeping with what I've memorised in terms of that Google map. Now, are we going to want to go that way, do you reckon?
I don't know.
Let's go that way. Because it's clinging to the river. The actual chapel is right next to the river. So in my mind, as long as we've got the river right with us, then we should be able to find it. But I'm hoping I don't have to swim. That's a little bit deep to wade as well.
What, is it over the other side, do you reckon?
I think it's over the other side, yeah.
Really?
This could get spicy, couldn't it? Right. Let's just stomp along and see if we spot it. Right. We're following the wrong river. Right. We're following the River Meaden, and we want to be on the Mourne, which is over there. So basically we need to get 2 fields over. And I've not brought my swimming trunks. Right. This might take some working out. So let's have another look at Google Maps then. Far too reliant on Google today. That is where we are now. We're basically following the top river and we need to be on the bottom one. So we're going to get across those fields somehow, by hook or by crook. Right, we're back. So through those woods is Bevercotes Colliery, exactly where we started. Here's the River Meaden. Okay, those two have been laughing at us. Off you go. So now we're on the other side of it. We should be cooking on gas in theory. I don't know what Jono's thoughts are on reincarnation, but
okay.
I know that neither of us were Pocahontas
No.
in a previous life, were we?
Good point.
Jeez. Literally got a map.
No internal compass.
No internal compass. Right, okay, so this coming up now is the River Mourne then, this bridge. So once we get to the other side, any time we can turn right, mate, we are literally then down and towards St James's Chapel. So we think we found it. We're over the river, so just back there, and it says public footpath, which makes it even more embarrassing that we've managed to get as lost as we have. So I looked for pictures of St James's Chapel or Haughton Chapel, as I always do when we're trying to, you know, do a walk somewhere. It's like trying to see what it looked like or whatever. And I managed to find 2 or 3 pictures of it, and it's in a complete derelict state even then. But there was one from I think 1912, and it shows that it had a bell tower in place, very much like the Trinity Chapel if you watched that episode I did. But unfortunately that was taken down because it was unsafe. It was going to collapse, and obviously it could have collapsed on me and Jono basically, so they thought of us, didn't they? And they pulled that down, annoyingly. So here's the River Mourne. The trees in the distance were where me and Jono were thrashing around like a pair of donuts in the wrong place, and those trees there where it pokes out, that is the chapel we're coming to find. So walking along the edge of the field, I apologise for the wind. I can feel it loads on my face, so it might be annoying sound-wise, I hope not. And we've spotted out the corner of our eye, back over towards where we were, you know, thrashing about, there are some stone remains there. So I'll send the drone up and over there, and I'm wondering if they're remains of maybe a farm or one of the properties of this village before it got cleared. What was it, Jono?
Tree.
It was a tree. So here we go, the wind's getting worse, but I'm not bothered because we're about to go into that little enclosure there, and look at that. That's incredible. So St James's Chapel. Now a lot of the stonework here was built in the 14th century, but there is a section which dates back to the 10th century, which is just incredible. And actually even before the original stone structure and then the Normans extending and all that kind of stuff in the 1000s, there was a chapel here even before that, but it was wood, so obviously that's, you know, that's long gone, but what an amazing building. So here we go, mate. Look at that. Now they did have burials here actually, Jono, because I did the Trinity Chapel down in Wessington a while back, and that was amazing. And they had weddings there, but they never had any burials, but they had them here. So the land that we're walking on, you know, there will be graves beneath us. And look at this, man. It's tiny though, isn't it? As well, but you think it was a tiny little village, you know, even before it was cleared. These would have had, you know, big arches. Now I'm pretty sure that there, if I come back here, that was a big window there, and that's where the bell tower was, right there. But unfortunately that's long gone. But I can obviously put some more pictures up, and you can see still a ruined state, but obviously in a much better state than it is now. Man. Oh, it comes all the way around here as well. So again, these would have been, look, pillars and arches over the top. Oh mate, this is unreal. How old this is. I'm looking to see if there's, I mean, you tend to find engravings, don't you? I mean, I don't know how old these are. These could just be, you know, 20, 30 years old. But some of them you find, and they'll have someone's name, and it'll be like 18 something, which I love. And let me just come up here. Oh, they've done some maintenance as well. That's great. Because my understanding is that this is a, you know, a listed ancient monument, but obviously you still need to maintain them so it doesn't come crumbling down. So that's great that they've done that. Wow, look at this. And the same here, look, they've got a snail sleeping in there. That's amazing. Right, let's come round this side then. Oh, look, Donald Duck's poking his beak out, look. So these would have been, I wonder if these would have been windows then, Jono, and they filled them in. I mean,
it looks like that shape because you've got the pillar here, but that makes me wonder also how deep it goes now.
it's not a
Why
bad
would
point.
you have the top of a pillar just 3 foot from the ground?
It's a good shout. Is it deeper on the inside? Does it drop down inside?
Well, it is slightly.
Yeah, but not a lot. Still not a lot.
Half a foot
Yeah,
deeper.
that's a good point actually. Maybe it was much bigger then actually. And maybe, you know. Oh, see, here we go. Here's stones. I'm wondering if this stonework then is what came off of that big bell tower that was right up there. Could well have been. And there's the outside of that window. Sort of aeroplane sort of doing me a bit there. What an amazing place though. Oh, hang on a minute. There's a memorial over there. There's something on that stone. Now, one of the walks that me and Jono did before was right up in the Peak District, where we looked at the Bleaklow bomber, which was a US Air Force bomber that crashed. Now, this is our RAF. We've not come to the site of another plane crash, have we, Jono? I think we have, you know. Oh, mate. I'm trying to read that, but the reflection's doing me a bit.
Yeah.
And my eyes are going, at my age.
In memory of the crew of 2 Wellington MKX bombers which crashed near this site.
Oh, see, these are Canadian. So that's not RAF at all, that's the Canadian Air Force. So 1943. Oh, mate. So the two Allied bombers have crashed into each other in this area then. Oh, mate. The chapel, that's been derelict since the 1700s. That, which is, you know, in terms of periods of time, that is just so long ago, it's hard to fathom, really. But I'm wondering if there's any other stonework around here where maybe there was, you know, houses, farm or whatever. So that comes to a dead end. I've basically, yeah, we've stitched ourselves with stingers, but there's a lot of blackberries. Right, okay, this isn't happening. So we've basically survived all that faffing going up the wrong river without getting stung, and then we've basically got to pretty much the end of the explore and we've both done ourselves in, so that's frustrating. But I can't see any remains. There are plenty of remains of stonework and stuff underfoot and on the floor. You're right, Johnny?
Yeah, just looking at some sort of old metal drum through there, but I don't know what that's all about.
I'm not sure. Farm related probably.
Yeah.
Jeez, that man walks quick. That lad in the distance was literally stood there seconds ago. Here we go, look, there's stonework like I was talking about, there's loads of it, but I think that's probably from the chapel, to be fair. Or they could well be headstones, couldn't they? That's a weird thought, I'm walking on people's graves here. So I have a little look back inside the chapel. Hey, what way would you say is south here, Jono?
I have no idea.
It's a hard one, isn't it?
Well, I don't know, the sun's there, it's 12 o'clock, I don't know what that means.
Well, it comes over and round, so yeah, maybe that is south then. Because basically the south entrance,
Right.
which could then presumably be there, is what dates back to Norman times. So we're talking, you know, just after the Norman invasion of 1066, which is just insanely old. And looking at it, this section does look older than the rest of this here. This was 14th century, this. But this does look an awful lot older. So I'm thinking that is south, and this is the south entrance. Well, to be fair, there isn't another entrance.
No.
That's just dawned on me. So it's got to be, isn't it?
That's not a door, that's a window.
That's a window, yeah. So it's got to be then. There it is then. So that is dating all the way back to the 1000s, which is incredible. And if it's looking south, it's facing back to Normandy, isn't it, I guess? Back to home. Oh wow, look at that. Wonder what that was for. Sure, that looks like that would have wood in it, maybe for a floor, but that's not the case because that wouldn't make sense there. Oh. No. Amazing though, wow. What a place.